Hi, mega church or church versus impact. A lot of young people coming up in their own world, in their business, streamers, movie people are asking me, they say, I don't go to church in Nigeria. They say, should I feel guilty? I said, don't feel guilty. You don't have to. The idea of mega church in Nigeria and the world is actually concerning. It was the system we grew up in. That means a person builds a large auditorium, puts crowd in it. It feeds the ego.
Pastor Tobi Adegboyega just dropped a bombshell statement about mega churches in Nigeria, and the timing, well, let's just say it's raising a lot of eyebrows. This is happening while Bishop David Oyedepo is putting the finishing touches on what might be the largest church auditorium in the world. Coincidence? You're about to find out. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's get into it. So, here's what happened. Pastor Tobi Adegboyega recently made a statement that has gotten tongues wagging all over Nigerian social media. Speaking about the state of churches in Nigeria, Pastor Tobi said, and I quote, "The idea of a mega church in Nigeria is concerning. A pastor building a large auditorium only befits the ego of the pastor, and he'll feel God is with him because crowds are in his church. The big churches and forget impact."
Hi, mega church or church versus impact. A lot of young people coming up in their own world, in their business, streamers, movie people are asking me, they say, I don't go to church in Nigeria. They say, should I feel guilty? I said, don't feel guilty. You don't have to. The idea of mega church in Nigeria and the world is actually concerning. It was the system we grew up in. That means a person builds a large auditorium, puts crowd in it. It feeds the ego of the pastor. It feels, or others feel, God must be with him. That's why many people are there. And God, so the younger pastor is trying to sow to become a mega church as well. They forget impact. Impact is actual real communities infiltrating, positively infiltrating different industries and bringing souls to God for real, like real evangelical work, not the recycling of Christians. And of course, countries like India, Brazil can build mega churches because there's so much poverty. The government is not functional in those countries. So it's not God being with people. People need hope. They need the placebo of hope. But impact is take your field, understand an ideology, and infiltrate it possibly for the betterment of people in that field for Christ. So if you are to choose impact over mega church, I'm telling the young pastor now who is bending their back to become like their father in faith, that you don't need mega church. I know mega church. For Europe standard, we built mega church, and politicians can come there to try to win vote, or on their birthday they come and wave to people, but they are not impacted by it. There is a big government try to do that with us, and we said no, we're not for that. We're for impact community. So it doesn't matter how big or small it is, if it has an outstanding vision, if the leader is outstanding, then that is mega impact. Infiltrate the fashion world, music world, beauty world, build businesses. Now the question would then be, how do we small churches then make money? If you're saying all these things, I think in my next video I will. Everybody is going to clock the Nigerian church system as commercial as it is now. Now I stand on the integrity of 20 years of doing this. Anybody can say, oh, but they said you are this, they said you are that. I'm nothing but successful, having much and believing in the church. I believe the church will be back to what it's supposed to be, not what America told us it's supposed to be. In my next video, I'll address church mega money versus church money. There is real money, then there is church money. You oppress people in a third world country with, oh, we have this and that. Really doesn't work anymore. There are gamers, there are streamers with way more money right now and way more rich. So that system is going to fail, and it's going to give way to what we believe the church should be like according to scriptures. PT, next video we'll talk about the next stuff. Peace.
Now, that is a loaded statement. Pastor Tobi is basically saying that these massive church buildings are more about feeding the pastor's ego than actually making a real difference in people's lives. He's arguing that pastors get caught up in the size of their congregations and the grandeur of the buildings, thinking that is the proof that God is with them. Meanwhile, According to him, they're forgetting what really matters: actual impact in society. But here's where it gets really interesting. The timing of Pastor Tobi's statements could not be more, shall we say, interesting, because right now, at this very moment, Bishop David Oyedepo, the founder of Living Faith Church Worldwide, also known as Winners Chapel, is completing a project that has left many Nigerians speechless. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a 100,000 capacity auditorium. Yes, you heard that right, 100,000 people. This massive structure has been nicknamed the Ark, and according to reports, it's worth about 100 billion naira. 100 billion naira. To put that in perspective, that is enough money to build thousands of hospitals, schools, and community centers across Nigeria. The Ark is expected to replace the existing Faith Tabernacle in Ota, Ogun State, which has served as the headquarters of Winners Chapels for decades. When completed, this will be one of the largest church auditoriums in the entire world. Now, Bishop Oyedepo is known for his grand vision and massive projects, but a 100 billion naira church building, that is on another level entirely. Now, here's the million naira question, or should I say, the 100 billion naira question. Was Pastor Tobi throwing shade at Bishop Oyedepo? According to reports, while Pastor Tobi did not mention any pastor by name in this statement, the timing raised serious eyebrows given Oyedepo's ongoing mega project. I mean, come on. You make a statement about pastors building large auditoriums to feed their egos at the exact same time someone is building what might be the largest church auditorium in the world. If that is a coincidence, then I don't know what shade looks like anymore. And Nigerians on social media, oh, they're not buying the coincidence theory either. The comment sections are on fire with people connecting the dots between Pastor Tobi's words and Bishop Oyedepo's project. But before we dive into the reactions, let's talk about who Pastor Tobi is and why his opinion on this matter is, let's say, complicated. Now, for those who might not be familiar with Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, let me give you some context, because this man has been in the headlines quite a bit recently. First, the good news. Pastor Tobi recently revealed that he battled cancer and survived. Opening up about his health challenge, he said his battle and survival are a testament to his purpose and determination to succeed. And in a beautiful gesture, he donated £100,000, that is about 150 million naira, towards cancer awareness and treatment for young people battling the disease. That is truly commendable and shows a heart for impact, which is exactly what he's advocating for in his statement about mega churches. And this is a big but. Pastor Tobi has also been involved in some serious controversies. He was at the center of a £1.87 million fraud investigation. That is about 4 billion naira. And just recently, he lost his appeal to prevent deportation from the United Kingdom. So when Pastor Tobi talks about church leaders and their priorities, some people are asking, does he have the moral authority to speak on this issue? Others would argue that his past doesn't invalidate his points. After all, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? This controversy has reignited a debate that has been simmering in Nigeria for years. The debate about mega churches, their priorities, and what the church should really be about. Nigeria is home to some of the largest churches in the world. We have Faith Tabernacle, which currently seats 50,000 people. We have the Redeemed Christian Church of God's Redemption Camp. We have Dunamis Church, Daystar Christian Center, and many others with massive facilities. And the question that keeps coming up is this: in a country where millions struggle with poverty, lack of healthcare, poor education, and basic infrastructure, should churches be spending billions on massive buildings? According to reports, conversations around material display in the church are intensifying. More and more Nigerians are asking their church leaders to justify these massive expenditures. Now, let's be fair. There are two sides to this argument. On one hand, supporters of these mega churches argue that, number one, large auditoriums can accommodate more worshippers and spread the gospel to more people at once. Number two, these buildings are investments that appreciate in value and can be used for multiple purposes. Number three, they create jobs during construction and afterward for maintenance and operations. And number 4, they put Nigeria on the map as having world-class religious infrastructure. On the other hand, critics like Pastor Tobi argue that, number 1, the money could be better spent on hospitals, schools, orphanages, and programs that directly help the poor. Number 2, Jesus never commanded his followers to build massive buildings. He focused on people, not structures. Number 3, it creates a culture where success is measured by size rather than impact. And number 4, it can feed the ego of the pastor and create an unhealthy focus on numbers and spectacle. So, who is right? As you can imagine, Nigerians on social media have had a lot to say about this, and the reactions, they are all over the place. One user wrote, "Pastor Tobi is speaking facts. We need more schools and hospitals, not bigger churches. The ego of these pastors is out of control." Another person said, "The same Pastor Tobi that was investigated for fraud is now preaching to Bishop Oyedepo. The audacity. Fix yourself first." Someone else commented, "Bishop Oyedepo has built schools, hospitals, and has scholarship programs. What has Pastor Tobi built apart from controversy? Let's be fair." This user had a different take. Both of them can be right and wrong at the same time. Yes, impact matters more than buildings. But also, Pastor Tobi needs to get his own house in order. One particularly spicy comment said, "Pastor Tobi talking about ego while he was out here living lavish in the UK with church money? The joke writes itself." But this supporter wrote, "I don't care about Pastor Tobi's past. The question he's raising is valid. Should churches spend 100 billion naira on buildings when people are suffering?" And perhaps the most interesting observation came from this user who said, "Notice how Pastor Tobi did not name names? That is because he knows Bishop Oyedepo is untouchable. He's been consistent for decades. This is just noise." The reaction really show how divided Nigerians are on this issue. So let's try to be objective here for a moment. Regardless of Pastor Tobi's personal controversies, does he have a point? I think the answer is, it's complicated. To be fair to Bishop Oyedepo and Winners Chapel, they're not just building structures. The church runs Covenant University, one of Nigeria's top private universities. They have Landmark University. They run schools through their Kingdom Heritage Model Schools. They have healthcare facilities and various social programs. So, it's not accurate to say they're only focused on buildings without impact. The impact is there and it's measurable. However, the question of proportion is still valid. When you're spending 100 billion naira on a single building, people will naturally ask, could that money have been distributed differently? Could it have helped more people in more direct ways? With 100 billion naira, you could build dozens of hospitals in rural areas. You could fund thousands of scholarships for underprivileged students. You could create massive job training programs. You could drill thousands of boreholes in communities without clean water. So, while Winners Chapel is doing good work, the question remains, is a 100,000 capacity auditorium the best use of 100 billion naira in a country like Nigeria? And Pastor Tobi, despite his flaws and controversies, has touched on something that makes many Nigerians uncomfortable. The possibility that some of these mega projects are indeed about the pastor's legacy and ego rather than purely about advancing the kingdom. It's a hard conversation, but it's one worth having. Look, at the end of the day, this controversy highlights a tension that exists in Nigerian Christianity and probably in churches around the world. There's a tension between vision and practicality, between faith and stewardship, between building for the future and meeting present needs. Bishop Oyedepo might genuinely believe that building the ark is God's will and that it will serve generations to come. That is his vision, and he has the right to pursue it. Pastor Tobi might genuinely believe that churches should prioritize direct impact over infrastructure. That is his conviction, and he has the right to express it. The real question for each of us as individuals is, what do we believe the church should prioritize? Should it be magnificent buildings that can accommodate massive crowds and stand as monuments to faith? Or should it be direct intervention programs that immediately touch the lives of the poor, sick, and marginalized? Or, and here's a thought, is there a way to balance both? I don't have all the answers, But I do know this, whether you agree with Pastor Tobi or you stand with Bishop Oyedepo, the conversation about church priorities, accountability, and impact is one we all need to be having. Because at the end of the day, faith without works is dead, and works without wisdom can be wasteful. The church, whether mega or small, must always ask itself, are we truly serving God and His people, or are we building monuments to ourselves? So, there you have it, folks. Pastor Tobi versus the mega church establishment, with Bishop Oyedepo's 100 billion naira arc right in the middle of it all. Now, I want to hear from you. Head down to the comment section and let me know. Do you agree with Pastor Tobi that big churches feed pastoral ego? Or do you think Bishop Oyedepo's vision for the ark is justified? Is there a way for churches to balance both impacts and infrastructure? And should Pastor Tobi's personal controversies disqualify him from this conversation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a respectful but honest conversation about this. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Esther Olateju for RNN TV. Until next time, stay blessed, stay informed, and remember, always think critically about what you see and hear.